Hello and welcome back to the Jedi Ramble video series, episode 1, My Journey, and this is part 3, which is going to be the final part. So in the last part we went over um, the brief path, brief, brief journey, the brief path that I went on. And in this final part where I'm going to be wrapping everything up, I want to go over some key experiences that um, I think are worth noting. We went over my trouble with ranks and how that affected my studies and my progress, and also my training with stream as well. So during that time, during my training as a Jedi, and I'm not going to take up specific times here because there's been a few. I have done some study, done some training, and then I went off the path. I stopped being active for a while, and a lot of people have commented on this before. And I'm gonna admit, it's entirely my fault, and there was things I should have done better, and I should have committed myself deeper. But I put too much stress on myself. I put too much pressure on myself to get things done, and I put so much attention onto training as a Jedi that I burned out myself. Now the Jedi path isn't like a club you go to once a week. It's a lifestyle, so it's something that you live with on a constant basis. But training 24/7 every minute of your days, doing articles every day and different lessons every day, it burns you out. And then you resent the path. And this is why I find that patience is a Jedi must, because you've got to be patient, you've got to go up. I mean, everyone has a different pace, but you need to take it slow enough that you can learn and appreciate the lessons and not burn yourself out, but fast enough that you keep yourself interested. You've got to make time for things to sink in. And that was a problem that I had, was that I didn't let anything sink in. I took a lesson, I said, okay, done this, on to the next. Take everything slow. Take one lesson and expand on it. And not just learn it, but live it. Implement it into your life. And that's what I've been doing these past few years, is taking each lesson and applying it. Because knowledge that doesn't get used is pointless. There's no point in studying the Jedi Code if you're not going to use it. There's no point in learning meditation if you're not going to meditate. There's no point in learning the Jedi path if you're not going to live it. And this is why the Jedi path is not for everyone, because a lot of people like to talk, they don't like to actually act. And action is a very important part of this path. And I learned that the hard way because I didn't like wanting to act. I just wanted to talk about stuff and call myself a Jedi. That's probably one of the minor things. While I was with training with streaming, as I mentioned last episode, not last episode, last part, I had several teachers. And you've got to remember that even if you have a master or you're an apprentice to a teacher, don't limit yourself to where you can study. And I'm sure most Jedi who have taken on apprentices will agree with me here that don't put all your eggs in one basket. Stream taught me for a long time, but he wasn't my only source of information and training. I learned from many other Jedi as well. And it's important in many ways. I mean, you don't have to train under them directly. I mean, just having discussions with them and learning lessons from them now and then can be a bonus. Because everyone has a different angle, a different view, and the only real way to shape yours is to observe other angles. So even if I'm discussing with 6 different Jedi about the Jedi Code, I'm still going to get different ways of looking at it, different interpretations. And through that, I can forge my own. And that is a very important thing about the Jedi path, is that you forge your own path. The Jedi path has a foundation. I like to use Zeta as an example here. It's like a house. Every house more or less has the same foundation, but a house is built differently. There are rules in which a house can be built, but there's no rules on how that can be decorated, if that makes sense. Also appreciate the lessons, because every lesson is a blessing. And not only does it fit the code, I'm just moving in my seat by the way for anyone wondering. It gives us a chance to expand. It gives us a chance to further. And the Jedi code is there's no ignorance, there's knowledge, and it's one of my most favoured lines of the code. Because the Jedi path is a path of constant progression, and even the masters, even Jedi masters, are still learning, are still students. So don't get caught up in being a master and knowing it all, because you won't ever know it all. The key is to accept that you don't know, and you can continue learning. Expand your mind, empty your cup, unlearn, and then learn again. So, there's not really much I could think of that's really significant to go over. I mean, I've had a lot of experiences, but I think that the overall journey has been explained pretty well. I mean, feel free to ask any questions, and I can create another video on it as well. So I'm going to kind of wrap this up by telling you what I'm doing now. Now, recently, I was knighted. Stream put me through knighthood. And I know not a lot of Jedi are going to agree with the way in which it's done, but being a knight doesn't change anything. I'm still learning. I'm not thinking I know it all like I used to. Knight, it's just a description. It's just a job description. I'm now taking responsibility and doing a little bit more to help out the community. And this channel is part of that. And I've also recently became an apprentice as well. So this is an example of how even students are apprentices, because even though, technically speaking, I'm a knight, I'm still an apprentice. And I'm learning under two people. I'm learning under Ali, who is one of the hosts of the, I'm hoping I say this right, the Forced Realist radio at Nights of Awakening. Charles McBride also is one of the hosts. And I'm also learning from a Jedi that I have respected for a long, long time, who has been one of those people I've looked up to as a person as well as a Jedi. He's been an inspiration, and I aspire to be like him in many ways. I don't aspire to be him, I aspire to be at that level, and that is Raylan. And if you don't know Raylan, he was, again, another one of the very early members in the community. And I am now Raylan's student, learning a new take on the Jedi path, and expanding my knowledge. And this is something I want to encourage. I want to encourage other Jedi to not limit yourself. Just because you have a teacher doesn't mean you can't have another teacher. When I was at school, I had a number of teachers in different classes, so don't feel that you have to limit yourself to one master. And I'm sure a lot of Jedi will tell you the same. Everyone has value. So don't give up an opportunity to progress. Because progression is something we're all looking for. Even the masters are looking for. So yeah, I mean, there's not really much left to go into. So I will say this before I go. If you want to ask me anything, any questions on my path, my journey, leave a comment on the Facebook group, or even send me a message on Facebook or on one of the forums, and I'll do a video. Or what I'll do is I'll do a Q&A. If I can get enough people to send me some questions, leave a comment on the Facebook group, or send me a message, I'll put together a video in which I will ask those questions, or if there's anything specific you want me to talk about in my journey, I'd be happy to do that as well. So I'm going to leave it there because it's coming. This video is starting to drag out a little bit now, and I feel that I've covered the foundations that I was intending on covering. So the next episode, I'm not sure what it's going to be, but I'm hoping to have another video up for the Jedi Ramble video series in the next couple of days or so, once I find out what video I'm going to post. So I will see you then, and may the Force be with you.